Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to watch my video on this channel. So this channel has lots of interesting videos, not only on specialty training, but also on useful information such as scholarship opportunities, job opportunities, and so on, with more interesting videos coming up. This video is specially dedicated to specialty registrars, including GP trainees at the beginning of the training program. So just so you know, I've got other important videos as well that I want you to know about. I've got a video on what I wish I knew before starting GP training, how my study group achieved 100% pass in the AKT exam. If you don't know what AKT is an exam which forms the first part of the mandatory RCGP examination requirements in order for you to come out successfully as a GP in the UK. I've also got a video on key resources to know before starting GP training and important RCGP updates as well. So I thought I'll come up with a series of videos to help colleagues at the beginning of training because I learned some things the very, very hard way. And I believe that it's important for us to help each other. So I'll be coming up with videos on a regular basis. So please like, share, and subscribe to encourage me to continue coming up with useful videos. In this video, I'll be talking about 7 things to do before starting each rotation in your specialty training. The first tip is to speak to someone who has already done the rotation. So, as the saying goes, experience is the best teacher. Someone who has done the rotation before you will definitely have some useful information to share with you, have some guidance to give you. You can learn from their mistakes as well, and they can give you a broad overview of what to expect during the rotation. Also, in having a chat with such people, I would say have an open mind. Don't hold on so much to the negatives. Just listen to them and see how best you can work around them. Also, just use whatever they tell you as a rough guide and do not let it cause you to have some form of preformed judgment about anyone in the rotation you are going into. So it's very important to do this as this can help you sail smoothly in the particular rotation. The next tip that I want to highlight is sending an email to your clinical supervisor or your CS ahead of time to introduce yourself. As you know, communication in this part of the world is very, very important, and first impressions really count. So, if you've watched my other video on what I wish I knew before starting GP training, I talked about being proactive. A proactive nature is really, really encouraged, and it's really seen as one of the good things or qualities that a registrar should have. So it's very, very important if you can to send an email just to introduce yourself, just to say hello, so that your CS can see that you are engaging and also a serious specialty registrar. The next thing to do is to take a step back and think about your weaknesses and formulate a plan. So, for example, if you're going to do an ENT rotation and you know you are not so conversant with the use of an otoscope or removal of foreign bodies, for instance, what you need to do is think of what you want to improve on or what skills you want to gain in the particular rotation and use this as a guide to develop your PDPs. PDPs mean personal development plans. I'll also be dropping a link to the PDP guidance in the description area so you can familiarize yourself with various PDPs for various rotations. You can just use them as a rough guide to develop your own PDPs for rotations. The next tip is to plan timelines for assessments. In training, you've got a number of assessments for each rotation to do. And if you don't plan very well, you'd be found wanting getting to the end of rotation. So there are a number of assessments, including the CEPS, which is the clinical examination procedural skills. We've also got the CBDs, which are case-based discussions, mini cases and courts. I'll be coming up with a video explaining all these things. So I'll encourage you to subscribe to this channel and also like this video so that it encourages me to come up with more videos to help you in your GP training rotations. So it's important once again to plan these ahead of time. Just sit down, plan, have timelines. If you want to finish all your assessments halfway through the rotation, set that goal for yourself and work towards achieving it so that you can relax towards the end of rotation when things are likely to get very, very stressful. The next step is the fun part, which is planning your annual leave. As the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So it's important to plan your annual leaves. You don't have to eat GP training You don't have to breathe GP training all the time. You don't have to think GP training all the time. Life isn't all about specialty training. You need to relax. You need to find time to take a break and enjoy, have fun, relax your body, and then come back into GP training or your specialty training. So it's important to plan this ahead of time. You can plan and go on a vacation. You can plan and stay at home and watch movies, but make sure you plan this ahead of time because you need to send requests ahead of time. Most teams would require you to send your requests at least 6 weeks ahead of time so that you can be granted the days that you want. So please keep this in mind and don't leave it till late. Another thing to note is that every registrar has a study budget. So some money has been set aside for you to improve yourself by attending conferences, workshops, and so on. So it's also important to bear that in mind and plan this ahead of time as well. So for instance, if you're a psychiatry registrar and you want to attend an annual psychiatry conference, it's important to plan this ahead of time, find out the dates, request for your study leave because it will need approval from your clinical supervisor or your educational supervisor, depending on your dean's requirements. So bear this in mind. Use this opportunity to engage in workshops, conferences that you want to attend, and don't forget to document this in your portfolio as well. Last but not least, if the particular rotation you're going into is not your very first rotation, it helps to reflect on your previous rotation. Why do you need to reflect? You just need to take a step back, think through the rotation. What were the positives? What were the negatives? If you're able to pick up some positives, look at improving on these positives in your next rotation just to show progression as a good specialty registrar. If there were negatives as well, think through how you can improve or how you can stop certain things that you did which didn't go too well and move on. There are times that we feel very low and very down about some experiences that we have. It's hard. Life is full of ups and downs, but let's try hard and put things together, put ourselves together, and then move on. Also, ensure that all forms of documentation that you're expected to do in your previous rotation is done. Don't leave anything till late, as this may go against you in your ARCP, which is a form of appraisal that all specialty registrars have annually. Thank you so much for watching my video to the very end. I really, really do appreciate your time. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for showing me love and coming back to watch my video. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would urge you to subscribe, like this video, share to friends, and then I'll see you in my next video. As I've said, I'm going to come up with more interesting videos as well, not only on specialty training, but on scholarships, on other opportunities in the UK and beyond. So stay tuned and I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.